Hey guys, bonus. Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna test out this brand new resin together. So, I have my mixing cup here and I'm actually gonna mark it, and I'm gonna mark it with my paint pen. And this resin is 2 parts epoxy to 1 part hardener. So, I have to look at this, and I'm actually gonna mark my cup because I'm not used to mixing it this way. So here you can't see it. This is 20 milliliters. This is 40 milliliters. And this is 60 milliliters. So I'm gonna fill it to the 40 mark, which is right here, with my epoxy. And then I'm gonna top it off with 20 milliliters of hardener. So that's 2 parts epoxy to 1 part hardener. And we're gonna play with this new resin a little bit. Okay, so just like any other resin, you need a stir stick. And, whoops, I haven't even opened that one yet. We're gonna see how bad this stuff smells. I opened the hardener because typically the hardener is what stinks, and it had no odor. I mean, like none, which shocked me. So we're gonna do the sniff test on the epoxy. Usually the epoxy doesn't, yeah, there is like no odor. That's incredible. And this one, no odor. Strange. I was really expecting this to smell. I don't know why, I just was. Okay, so this, I'm gonna put 40 milliliters of the epoxy. Okay. Now I'm gonna put 20 milliliters of the hardener. Like that. Now this is supposed to be bubble free. So I've already got the perfect test for it. It's very, very runny. And I'm not going to stir this any differently than I stir my other East Coast resin. Let me, no guys, no smell. I mean, zero smell here. This is amazing. One of the reasons I like my East Coast resin so much is because of the low odor. But this guy's has got it beat like hands down. We're gonna put this to the test. Oh, yes we are. I don't have a lot of this to play with, but and I'm stirring the devil out of this, guys, and there is literally no bubbles in it. This is insane. Oh, there's a few. See if you can see that. I don't think you can see it very well. This is supposed to be completely degassing. It's supposed to not hold bubbles at all. So we're gonna find out. I have no idea what the pot life on this is. I have no idea how long it's gonna take it to get hard. All of those things we're gonna find out together. And I think what we'll do is we will pour some letters, just because. I just wanna try it out. This is what I've got handy. What else do I have laying around here? Let's pour some clear, because I want to test this whole it doesn't hold bubbles at all theory. And I want to pour it in something and just let it sit and cure. And see if it really releases all the bubbles. And by pouring it with no color, we will be able to see that. Okay, so I'm going to pour a few of these. There we go. And we're just going to let those sit and cure. And I can also test our curing time this way too. Now I've got my This Is Us mold. That's what this is. And I think we'll make these, oh, let's make them white. So I got my Mayspring, because you know, what else would I reach for, right? It's just a given. I'm gonna put some of that in there. This will also let us test how it mixes with our pigments. So, okay, it doesn't mix as easily as my other East Coast resin. The pigments aren't incorporating as quickly. But still, not, I mean, wasn't hard to mix it in, just took slightly longer than normal. So that's not a big deal. Doesn't seem to have any kind of a bad reaction to the pigment. So let's see what happens. And I've got my silicone cups. Let's Resin sent me these to test them out. And they're okay, guys, but honestly, they're not my first choice. I used them for this mostly because it's easier to measure this way. The markings are right on the sides. I had to get my cheater reader so I could see better. And I think I'm actually going to set my mold on a board. Just, oh, that's much better. That's much easier to see. That's why you guys can see it better too. That's much better. Okay. Tell you what, getting the little dots on the eyes with resin in them and not all the way around them is a little bit of a challenge without my eyedroppers. See there, I got it all over. There we go. So yeah, the pigment's mixed in rather odd. Not sure I'm a fan of that. But for pouring molds and things like this, this might just be a really great way to go. Because if you've worked with molds at all, you know it can be challenging to get the bubbles out of the molds without ruining the mold. Because too much heat on your silicone molds will ruin them. It literally melts them. And yes, I know that from experience. And I'm looking at that, guys, and there is not a bubble anywhere. That is impressive. Let's move this one up here with the clear. Now I do see a bubble on this clear. Right there. See it? Is that a bubble or is that something in my mold? Oh, that's not a bubble. That's actually a defect in my mold. Okay, so we've got those. I'm gonna scooch this off. I'm gonna scooch this off. And I wanna try something else here. Here I've got this big, I don't like that mold. Shh, I did not say that out loud. Let's get one of these. Okay. Let's try something here. I'm gonna pour some of this around here. And now I'm gonna take some of my pale pink. I'm gonna shake that up because that is an acrylic ink. It needs to be shook. I think I'm gonna put some more of that in there before I add the pale pink. Okay. And this is just an experiment. This will end up being nothing. I just want to play around with this mold or with this resin a little bit. See what I think. Now the acrylic ink seems to mix in quite well. That mixed right in. The powders didn't mix in as well. Or as quickly, I should say. It mixed in, just didn't mix in as quickly. But this resin is bubble free. I am absolutely amazed. And I'm just gonna pour all that in there. And again, guys, this has no odor. I mean, zero odor. It is very runny. And I'm not sure that's my thing. You guys know I like a medium resin, but I think you could let this sit and thicken up for projects that you needed it to. Okay. I'm gonna flip this upside down over here, and I'm gonna take a heat gun to this just to see what it does. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Okay, I'm also going to try something else. As soon as I find, here it is. This, of course, is my denatured alcohol. Now, I don't want to spray it on all of it. I want to see how it reacts and what happens. So I'm going to take just a plain piece of paper and I'm going to cover half of this. And I'm going to spray just this side with my denatured alcohol just to see how that brought out some kind of cool effects. Okay. Let me get you down closer to that, guys, so you can see it better. Let's go really close here. Remove this. I'm going to do that again so you can see what happens. Kind of neat. Now, once you spray a piece with alcohol, guys, do not torch it. Your isopropyl alcohol is 91% alcohol, which means it is highly flammable. Okay. So let me put my cheater readers on. There is not a single bubble in that. And what's even more amazing is I'm looking at this one, check that out. I did not torch this. I did not run my heat gun over it. Nothing. You guys saw me pour it. Haven't touched it since. Haven't turned off the camera. There is not a single flippin' bubble anywhere in these. I am amazed. And it does not stink at all. Has no odor. Now, my only question is, am I going to be able to get the effects? And the cells and the marbling and all of those things with this resin. That is yet to be seen. But as far as pouring molds with it, as far as I can tell, this is pretty much the bomb. I mean, that is something. And like I said, it is runny. But no bubbles whatsoever. It's really only very slightly thicker than it was when I poured it. Of course, it's only been like 5 minutes, so. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit. And even dragging the popsicle stick through it, there is not a single bubble in that resin. That is really something. We'll see how it maintains these lines that I put in it. This could open up a whole new realm of resin art. I mean, completely new possibilities. My mind is going 100 miles an hour, can you tell? But I wanted to share this with you. Again, this is not available on the market at this point. These are the only 2 bottles right here that are even available. And I was sent these to test this resin to see what I thought of it for various applications in my art, because I am a partner with East Coast Resin. And the gentleman who owns the company and I have become very good friends. And he wanted an artist to test it. He knows what the literature says. He does not do resin art. And he needed somebody that could put this through its paces and see what it did and didn't do. And if it was everything they said it was. So we will find out. I am going to let this cure completely. I'll let it cure for a couple of days, and then I'm going to give it the heat test, because I have very little literature on this. I have the mixing instructions and very little else. So we're going to test it. All right, guys, that's our quickie. That is a bonus for this week. So we'll talk soon.